Today we are gazing upon the face of Agamemnon with his golden death mask. Not really, but I'll get into that in just a little bit. The Mask of Agamemnon was a big part of my undergraduate dissertation, which I wrote 3 years ago. 3 years ago. All my bibliography and further reading will be in the description box below as always. Not the dissertation though. That is never seeing the light of day again. Don't forget to like, subscribe and ring the bell before you've even watched the video yet. Cheers, thank you very much. Let me first introduce you to Agamemnon himself. He will most likely be getting a whole video to himself at some point in time, just not yet, okay? I'll just give you the basics so you can understand him and then the mask, right? Agamemnon was the mythical king of Mycenae in ancient Greece. If you've seen my Eagle Bearer's Guide video, oh my god, same place, right? You might also know him from Homer's Iliad, he's in the Odyssey a wee bit, Troy, and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, obviously. He was the son of Atreus, the brother of Menelaus, king of Sparta, and husband of Clytemnestra, which makes him brother-in-law on both sides to Helen. Helen of Sparta, Helen of Troy, the face who launched 1,000 ships, who was whisked away by Paris, Prince of Troy.
An international war crime.
Thus kicking off the Trojan War. You heard of that before? Now, Agamemnon was a bit of a bastard, if you don't mind me saying. His own greed and lust for power extended the war by so many years because he pissed off multiple gods and fell out with Achilles over a girl. Again, very quick, very brief rundown of the type of things that he did. He killed his own daughter to appease the goddess Artemis because he killed her sacred stag and boasted that he was so much better than her at hunting. Why would you say that about Artemis, bro? So Artemis basically stopped his ships from sailing until he sacrificed his own daughter. In some stories, he sacrifices a stag instead, and his daughter becomes a priestess to Artemis, but he most likely just killed her because he's horrible. He also abducted Chryseis, who was the daughter of a priestess of Apollo, as a war trophy, and then he was really nasty to her dad when he tried to get her back. So Apollo sent a wave of disease amongst Agamemnon's army. He reluctantly gave her back, so the disease eventually stopped. But that's then when he fell out with Achilles, because since he had to give his girl away, he went, well, no, I want one. I want a trophy, so I'm going to take your one. So he took Briseis off Achilles in replacement for the girl that he gave back to her own father. In ancient Greek literature and in ancient Greece, women weren't treated as human beings, by the way. That's what that's about. So then Achilles dropped out of the war for a long, long time, and went into the world's most notorious, iconic huff ever. So he pissed off Achilles and the twin deities, by the way. Apollo and Artemis are twins. And had to deal with the consequences. Oh, consequences of your actions, big silly man. Anyway, once they return from the war, spoiler alert, the Greeks won, by the way, Agamemnon was murdered in the bath by Clytemnestra and her lover Aegisthus for the crime of killing their daughter. Go on your sail hen, I don't see a problem with that whatsoever. We have no clue if Agamemnon actually existed, at least not as Homer foretells. Discord, shut up! And we have no archaeological evidence to back him up in that way. Mycenae though, defo exists, can confirm. Homer in his Iliad describes Mycenae as Mycenae rich in gold, or golden Mycenae, emphasising the wealth and the riches that were probably held within the citadel, which defo corroborates the epic haul of gold found in Grave Circle A. So now that's the rough basics covered, let's get back to the actual mask. The Mask of Agamemnon is a sheet gold mask found in Grave Circle A of Mycenae. It dates to around 1550 to 1500 BC. Got my fives and my ones nearly mixed up there. So even if Agamemnon, King mythical Agamemnon, did exist at the time frame of Homer's Iliad and Troy and things, it's not his mask anyway. This mask was long buried and created before Agamemnon was born, by at least a couple hundred years. And it also was not the only mask found. I think there was 5 masks in total found within the shaft graves of Grave Circle A, alongside some other incredibly wealthy grave goods. It was around 15 kilograms worth of gold that was found in the graves, and not only was there masks, but there was other sheet plates on other body parts as well. There was pots, there was coins, there was earrings, there was cups, there was daggers, there was all sorts of things. But lots and lots of gold. okay? Lots and lots of gold. Very, very wealthy place, very, very wealthy people. The mask was found actually still attached to the deceased's face with its little string round the head. Ew. And you can clearly see the details of the face, right? You can see the eyes, the eyelids, the eyebrows. You can tell that the eyes are closed. You can see the nose, the mouth, the ears very well, including the facial hair. Not only is there a beard, but a big curly tash as well. It's a pretty good looking face, really. Obviously, we can't tell how lifelike this was or how similar it was to the deceased because we can't see their face anymore. Was this possibly an attempt at a portrait? Was it meant to mimic someone else? Maybe it was meant to mimic a god or another mythical figure for those Mycenaeans? We have no idea. Probably meant to represent the deceased, you would assume. But we don't know. We don't know that. Who actually found the mask? It was found by a man called Heinrich Schliemann, who is a figure of controversy in the archaeological world, as are most Victorian archaeologists. Heinrich Schliemann's whole deal was he set out with a copy of Homer's Iliad and wanted to find the places within it, mainly being Troy and Mycenae, which he actually did. He used the book to find the ruined cities. Class. Well done, mate. And throughout the 1840s, the excavations of Mycenae took place. There was talk of the mask being a fake, a fraud, a forgery, made by Schliemann to sort of gather interest amongst his Victorian audience and be like, ooh, look at this thing that I found this guy, I found King Agamemnon, ooh. But I think that's been more or less disproven. However, there is a very fun forgery in Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which I spoke about in my first ever Eagle Bears guide video, all about Mycenae and like the main sort of points, where the mask is actually included on the armour set, the legendary armour set of Agamemnon. It's got Agamemnon's mask on it, basically, as a shoulder piece. Obviously, the real mask is not a shoulder piece of a piece of armour, but that looks pretty cool, and I was very, very chuffed to find that out. It made me happy, because I love when there's a bit of accuracy or a little, like, nod to historical things in things that doesn't make me cringe. So if you fancy taking a wee look at my Eagle Bears Guide to Mycenae video, feel free to have a look at that. That was actually filmed and created when I was writing my dissertation 3 years ago. Disgusting. Disgusting. I hate the passage of time. It's not been 3 years. It has not been 3 years since that happened, I tell you. Anyway. It is absolutely roasted in here. I am sweating buckets. Just thought I'd let you know that. The Mask of Agamemnon is an incredibly famous piece of archaeology and an incredibly famous misquote from Heinrich Schliemann in his Telegraph to the King at the time. That thing that I said at the start, gazing upon the face of Agamemnon, that was a big quote that went around at the time, being like, ooh, this is cool and very dramatic and romanticised, when really he said something really boring along the lines of, I have found this thing and this, that and the other, and it could be Agamemnon and maybe not. I can't remember the exact wording because it's boring. Did King Agamemnon exist? Who's actually to say? We don't know. We don't have the evidence to back that up. Maybe Homer used actual historical figures in his works. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he picked bits and made his own little fan fictions about people. We don't know. But as of right now, there is no archaeological evidence to back up King Agamemnon at this time, in the time frame which allows. Does that make sense? It's not his mask, though. At least not in Homer's terms, in terms of King Agamemnon, Trojan War, King of Mycenae at the same time. You know what I mean? It just doesn't add up. Given the incredibly rich graves found in Grave Circle A, it was definitely a place that was rich in gold, as Homer has told us. It's worth remembering that not only the mask, but all of the golden objects were taken out of the economy and put into the ground. Right? So they weren't being cycled through the economy anymore, which meant the economy was stable enough without 15 kilograms of solid gold in it to hold it up. You know, that's a lot of wealth to pretty much waste by putting it in the ground, and it never seen the light of day again until Schleeby Boy. Therefore, those who are buried in Grave Circle A must have been some form of maybe Mycenaean royalty, or if not royalty, or maybe not by our idea of royalty, some form of elite class within Mycenaean society. So let me know if you'd like a separate Grave Circle A video, because I could talk for Scotland about this. But thank you so much for watching. Cool mask, right? Pretty cool. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a little comment if you want. Ring the bell too. Again, my bibliography and further reading is in the description, but not my dissertation because ew. creep. And other than that, I will see you next Tuesday. Maybe. We'll see. Bye.